Meeting started. Before we officially open our council meeting, we need to report out from a closed session meeting that we just concluded with, and I will ask our city attorney to do the honors there.
Yes, the council met in closed session to discuss potential litigation regarding a claim from Tatiana Shevratilova. I'm sure I mispronounced it. I apologize. And we have nothing to report. This item is on the consent calendar.
Thank you very much. So at this point, I would like to officially call the meeting to order and ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Councilmember Anstandig?
Here.
Councilmember Turner? Here. Councilmember Rogers?
Here.
Councilmember Wilsheimer?
Here.
And Mayor Craig?
Here.
Thank you.
For the orders of the day, are there any changes to the orders of the day?
Staff would like to request, if the council is amenable to it, to moving item number 14, new business, Monte Sereno Veterans Memorial initial discussion, as in it should be very short. If that would be possible to move that to right after the consent calendar, in front of the public hearings.
Can I have a motion to move item number 14?
Motion.
Okay, I'll second that. And I hit the second. There we go. And we're waiting for our voting button. Yes. Okay, Councilmember Anstanding, how do you vote?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So
All votes are in.
all votes are in. Record the vote, please. And there it is. Okay, so we're going to move item number 14, which brings us to oral communications. At this point, I would love to have anybody who would like to speak about an item that is not on the agenda to please come up to the podium and address the audience tonight. Seeing none, I will move on to written communications, and we don't have any written communications. That brings us to the consent calendar. The consent calendar consists of items 1 through 11, and all the motions or all these items will be considered at the same time. Can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I make a motion to approve this consent calendar.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, we got to do we have a motion,
Aye.
and we have a second.
Because we didn't have any cards.
And Councilmember Anstanding voted yes. Okay, very good. So now that brings us to item number 14, the Monte Sereno Veterans Memorial. We're going to have an initial discussion on that. Terry, were you going to open that up for us?
I will. As the council knows, we had a gentleman, Michael Frangadakis. Did I get that correct?
Pretty close.
How do you say it?
It's Frangidakis.
Frangidakis. Came and spoke September the 18th to the council with the idea of possibly installing a Veterans Memorial in the city of Monte Sereno, of which we do not have one. So based on that, I worked briefly with him and got some ideas on exactly how he and his organization works. And there's a brief description in the staff report about, basically him and his organization forming a committee. They come up with some ideas, and then those ideas can be presented to the city council. And they're just also looking for, a general show of support from the council on moving forward with potentially siting a Veterans Memorial in the city. And with that, I do believe, did you wanted to say a few things?
Sure.
So please come on up and introduce yourself.
Mr. Mayor, Council, fellow citizens. My name is Mike Frangidakis. I'm a longtime resident of the city. I live on Blanchard Drive in Monte Sereno. And while we're on that subject, I want to thank you for putting a really beautiful street on or redoing our street. Many of you know that I'm very heavily involved in Veterans Affairs, and I'm active State Military Reserve with the National Guard. I'm the founding chairman of the Los Gatos Veterans Memorial and Sport Foundation. And then I realized that my own city does not have any tribute to its veterans, and I just thought that was a little wrong. And also, this city was started by veterans. I think all of you know that Admiral English and 4 other admirals after World War II were really responsible for incorporating the city. And why he didn't do it, I have no clue. But perhaps we can do a tribute to him. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but I would like to form a committee to come up with some ideas and then bring them to the council for approval. I guess that's all I really need to say at this point. Are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are the members of the committee, are they going to be from Monte Sereno exclusively?
I would think so, yes. Yeah, I would like to have an association with Los Gatos, however, because Los Gatos is a Veterans Memorial and Support Foundation. We're raising $2.5 million for that one, and I'm not expecting this city to be in that category. But if there's an association between Los Gatos, I just think it would be a good thing, because I think people that are interested in Veterans Affairs and would like to support veterans from this city, it would be a natural coalition between the two cities, you know. So that's kind of what my long-term plan is. But again, I just would like to form a committee of Monte Serenians and come up with something that works for the city. It works for all of us.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and as was mentioned, this is not an action item, but what we would be looking for is a show of support. And I see Councilmember Rogers.
This seems easy.
Yes, it does. So I will take that as support.
I definitely support, sorry.
And staff will, provide whatever, support that we can help them with, whatever that may be.
Okay, I see all the heads shaking. I wholeheartedly support this. Councilmember Ann Standing, would you like to say anything?
I completely support it as well. It's a great idea.
Great. So I think you'll work with Terry and get your committee started, and we look forward to seeing what you bring to the city, and I'm sure it'll be very, very nice. Thank you. Okay.
And if you excuse me, I do hate to interrupt, but it's a point of order. There actually is a speaker here who I know wanted to speak on one of the consent calendar items, the Blanchard Drive Pilot Improvement Project. Unfortunately, he was not able to get a card in time. If the council would permit it, could we possibly open oral communications for just a couple of minutes so that that person can get up? Because I do know they wanted to address the council about the overall project.
Okay, sure. Do we need to have a vote to do that? Or okay, sure. Come on up and.
Very briefly, this is just basically a thank you. I'm Michael Diadio. I live on Blanchard Drive along with Mike and Liz. With the Blanchard Drive project coming to a successful close, I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of the residents of Blanchard Drive to thank the council, the town manager, and his staff for the efforts that they put forth to make Blanchard Drive happen. I mean, we transformed a unsafe, ugly, pothole-ridden street into probably the nicest street in the city, and we do appreciate it. And I'd like to say a special thank you to Julie Bezad, the city engineer, and Jim Helmer, who ably consulted on the project. So basically, I just wanted to stop by and say thank you for doing a great job.
Well, you're very welcome.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your thank you. Okay, so that puts us back on our regularly scheduled program and brings us up to item number 12, which is a variance request. And Julie, you usually handle those. Jeannie, I heard Julie.
Okay.
We'll get you straight.
I'll be around long enough, so.
Yep.
Oh. You want this to come up? Okay.
Good evening, council members and mayor. Again, it's my pleasure to be before you. What we have here is a variance request for the construction of an accessory dwelling unit on a site located at the, basically at the elbow of San Benito Way, before it dead ends. The request is to put an accessory dwelling unit in the side corner of this lot, which is, it fronts one side of San Benito Way. The issue is on a side corner lot, there's a much larger setback required. And in this case, because it's adjacent to a key lot, it's even a larger. So they have a 20.25 foot required side corner setback along that one frontage on San Benito Way. That, coupled with the existing development of a pool on the site, really constrains their ability to place any sort of structure within that larger area of their lot, which is really the part that's most open. This, if you've read through the staff report, there's the ability to place one within that area. However, they would need to encroach into that 20 feet. I think they're proposing to go down to as much as 7 feet. However, their argument is that because that portion of their lot is depressed approximately 6 feet below the street level, and the proposed structure would only be approximately 12 feet in height, that even if they placed any sort of structure there, it wouldn't be visible from people driving along that street. The other area that may be available for any sort of accessory structure is much smaller. So again, they're really, I don't know, where's this? Oh, here it is. They're constrained. I'm sorry. Where's the slideshow here? It's on the eastern side, again, between the pool and the side property, and the primary structure is already very close to the setback. So this is the area that they're proposing it in. The only other area available is this small area, and again, given the pool, the primary structure, it really doesn't afford the opportunity for any sort of accessory structures. So there's where the applicant is coming from. From staff's review of this, you know, technically it's hard to make the findings for a variance. There are several corner lots within the city, and they all have that. I think similar to a previous proposal we have, there is some opportunity for the city in the near future to recognize that these excessive side corner setbacks really put more of a constraint on these corner lots. So I think that is one area that we will be looking towards modifying, similar to the direction that council gave us with the previous requests, to bring it in line with what is more typical for side corners, a little larger than maybe the standard 6 feet, but not so much as the 15 to 20 feet that these are required. Again, I think, you know, staff put forth, you know, what we need to look at in our staff report. There is some uniqueness to this property. Whether I could find it was completely unique citywide, I couldn't. Should the council, you know, be compelled to want to support this, there may be sufficient opportunity there. And clearly, when this goes through a building permit process, we would ensure that all other development standards, as any accessory dwelling unit is required, would meet, such as the design parameters and the other setbacks. So it would, as proposed, meet 3 of the 4 required setbacks. It's really just the side corner setback that they're requesting to vary from. I do know the applicant is in the audience, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Let's start off with, are there any questions for staff? Councilmember Anstanding, do you have any questions for staff?
No, thank you.
Thank you. And I don't see anybody else. So at this time, I would like to ask the applicant if he would like to speak on the project. Great. And if any members of the public would like to speak about this agenda item, if you could please fill out and submit one of our blue cards, which are located underneath the clock over here, and please hand that to the city clerk. We'll make sure that we call you up and give you a couple of minutes to talk to us. So, good evening.
Good evening. Mr. Mayor, thank you. City Council members, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. So my name is Vahan Shakarian. I reside at 17618 San Benito Way. And I was here about a little over a year ago. I don't know if you remember, but I think all of the same council members were here. We've been trying to get more living space in our property for the last 2 years, and our second-story addition was denied, which, so after the whole process of going through a couple of set of meetings, we kind of took a step back and regrouped to try and figure out how we get more space. And, the thought was really the only chance we have is maybe this accessory dwelling unit where we put a structure in with some kind of basement for storage. And, our current living space is about 1,650 square feet, so we're just trying to get more space to be able to, have, move, room to move. So it's a compromise from what we were hoping to do, but we understand we have to move forward, and hoping that this is something that the council can review. So like Jeannie had said, we're in a corner lot, so this location is 6 feet below the street. Then we've got the fence, and we've got vegetation that's growing over there. So, we're not looking at this unit being more than 12 feet above the ground, and certainly other units, like again the city, the report had said is that our neighbors next door enjoy the 6 feet setback, and again for our situation, we're right next to a street. We're not really next to another neighbor on the side where we're asking for the variance. We've met all the other variance requirements from on the property, so we feel good about that. And I've had a chance to speak with the one neighbor that affects the property. Marty is here tonight, so maybe he'll say some things about this. I think in May, as I was doing some research, it looks like the council had approved actually variance of something similar, not identical, but similar. So hopefully, you have an opportunity to, if you reviewed what we're asking for, and see if you would also grant us this variance so we can go get some more space and have some elbow room in our property. So
Thank you
for
very
the
much.
opportunity. Thank you.
Are there any questions for the applicant? Okay, Councilmember Anstanding, any questions for the applicant?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so at this point, I will open it up for public hearing, and my first blue card is Martin Hassa.
Yes, Martin Hasha, 15816 San Benito Way, directly adjacent to the left. And I'm speaking on behalf of 6 residents who live at our house. We've looked at the plans and reviewed it and looked at how it would appear. And we basically have no objection to it. I do recognize in Monte Sereno, as many communities, the somewhat difficult balance at times between promoting these type of auxiliary units for the housing difficulties, but yet maintaining the precedents and long-standing variance situation. So I understand that, but in this particular situation, we have no objections to it. Once again, so long as when the project there's safety and access and traffic and all that taken care of, which is part of the normal process. So, thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And Steve Wade.
Evening. My name is Steve Wade. My wife and I live down the street, about 3 houses down on San Benito Way. We fully understand the special circumstances in this street. They're very small lots, and it's kind of a funky little easement road we have there. When we did our remodel about 12 years ago, we were granted a variance because of the special circumstances that these lots have. And I would like to speak in support of this because it really doesn't impact anybody. It's set down very low in that corner. The structure probably wouldn't even stick up above the fence. So I don't have any issues with it, and I would like to say that I would be in support of it. My only question is there additional parking required for an accessory structure? Because the street is very tight from a parking perspective.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I will close the public hearing and bring this back to council. And Councilmember Rogers.
Yeah, I've been to the property a couple times, and my question was, first of all, does this cause any kind of safety hazard? And it does not. Does this cause any problems in regards to the neighbors or bordering properties? It does not. And does the ADU help the city? Which it does. I'm very much in favor of granting a variance for this property. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Councilmember Anstanding, did you have any questions or comments?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. And Councilmember Turner or Councilmember Wilsheimer?
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with Councilmember Rogers. I took a look at the property again. I was there a year ago when we looked at the second story. I think the homeowners are sort of a victim of the fact that this is a corner lot. If this had not been a corner lot, it would not have been an issue. The fact that the back of the house is facing the side of another house puts the requirement for the distance from 6 feet to 20 feet. So if that had not been the case, this would have been not have been an issue. And I agree, it's not visible from the neighbor's yard. It's not visible from the street. So I'm very much in favor of granting this request.
Thank you very much. And I will finish up by saying I'm also in favor of this project. I remember when it first came to the council as a two-story or as an additional story, and how the neighbors did not like the second story. And I really want to thank everybody for working together and for the applicant to take a look at maybe not as big of an addition as he wanted to initially make, but being able to place it in his yard. And now everybody seems to be happy with it. And at this point, do we need to, I know we need to go through some formalities here. So I leave that to our city attorney to, let me just ask Councilmember Anstany, did you have any other comments?
No, I don't have any. I agree with the comments that have been made.
Okay, thank you.
If I can just answer the question from one of the residents. Parking, one additional parking space is required, but per the code and the state regulations, it may be provided in a setback area and in a tandem configuration on an existing driveway. This is a two-car garage, two-space driveway, so I would encourage the applicant to make those spaces available should this accessory dwelling unit be supported, and that nothing can really block access to those parking spaces.
Correct, yes. Just in my visits to the house, it's a very tight turn for the neighbors to get down to their houses. So, okay. So, city attorney, you get a shot at this.
In the packet, we did provide you with a resolution denying the variance, which was in support of the staff's position. But based on what we've heard tonight, I think that the findings can be made based on the unique characteristics of the property, and that would be that the property is a corner lot, and due to the configuration of the structures on that lot and the adjoining lot, it increases the setbacks, which is far greater than any other property on that street. In addition, the property is 6 feet lower than the roadway, which also impacts the developability of the site. So based on those findings, we would recommend that the council approve the variance, and we'll post-prepare a resolution.
Okay, thank you very much. At this point, would anybody like to make the motion to approve this variance?
Have a motion. Yes, there's
Oh, we do.
motion and a second.
Okay,
It doesn't pay to say it.
so we will call to vote.
Councilmember Anstandig?
Yes.
Okay, I need to do a roll call vote for
Yes.
this. So, Councilmember Anstandig voted yes. Councilmember Rogers?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Turner?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilsheimer?
Yes.
And Mayor Craig?
Yes. Okay, very good. Congratulations and good luck on your project. Okay, item number 13 is some proposed changes to the city's tree preservation regulations. And Jeannie, were you going to handle this one also? Excellent.
Yeah, so back on, in October, we had brought to you some recommended changes, also having been discussed with Site and Architecture, and the council at that time gave us direction. So the ordinance in front of you reflects that direction, which includes language that removed the threshold of 3 trees of any size or species within a single year. That threshold is no longer in there to be considered a significant tree removal. We also included language which identified undesirable trees that people, there's no discretion in whether or not they can remove them. They can. They would just simply need to come in for an over-the-counter tree removal permit, so staff can in fact verify that it is a tree. Most cities don't feel comfortable just giving property owners that ability to do without verifying that they are in fact the type of trees that are on the undesirable list. We also included an increase in the fine to what was recommended by council of $1,000, should they be fined in removing a tree without benefit of a permit. And then just further clarified the appeal process for tree removal permits, and also included in there for the over-the-counter administrative approvals. If for whatever reason the property owner is not in line with the city's decision, they could then get in the actual process to go to Site and Architecture to then create an appeal process for that. So with that, I'm available for any questions.
Okay, very good. Any questions for staff? Okay, Councilmember Anstanding, do you have any questions for staff?
No, I think it's all looks good to me.
Okay, very good. At this time, I would ask if there's anybody who would like to make a comment.
Public hearing.
Okay, and now I would like to open it up for public hearing, and I have one card, Sean Lutold.
No, mine's for the mayor's.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were on this one. Okay, so then, any comments at all?
No.
Do I have somebody who, now, are we just making a motion to?
You're
or
going
is this
to-
more of a,
No, you're making a motion to introduce an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Monte Sereno amending Title 10, Chapter 10.15 by establishing. Is that the wrong one?
That's right.
Is that the right one?
Yeah.
The right title?
Establishing the city's site and architecture commission.
Yeah, okay. So by establishing the city's Site and Architecture Commission as the body considering tree removal permits, and waive the reading thereof.
okay. So,
No, that's not. That they will introduce an ordinance of the City of Monte Sereno amending Title 10, Chapter 10.15, tree preservation of the municipal code, modifying the requirements for a tree removal permit.
And waive the reading thereof.
okay,
So that is a correction from what was in the packet.
okay. So looks like somebody has made the motion,
Motion.
and we have a second now. Do we need a roll call for this?
You will, give me 1 second, I need,
Okay.
okay. Do you have your voting buttons? I don't have all votes in yet. Okay.
Oh, do we need a roll call vote, though?
You will.
Okay.
So now I do have all votes in, except for Councilmember Anstandig?
Yes.
Okay. Councilmember Rogers?
Yes.
Councilmember Turner?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilsheimer?
Yes.
And Mayor Craig?
Yes.
Okay. There's your vote. Passes 5-0.
Okay, very good. So now we are going to come to our city council reorganization.
No.
No, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
Not yet.
We have
That's right.
move, everybody's scrolling wrong here.
Committee, commission.
So committee and commission reports.
Nothing.
Nothing,
I got nothing.
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 Nothing. All right, council member comments.
I got nothing.
No comment.
Okay. City managers report.
Just three quick things. Excuse me. Our new city engineer, Jessica Hahn, starts on Monday, I'm excited to say. There'll be a 2-week transition period where the 2 existing part-time engineers will remain on staff so they can help with the transition. So we're very excited about having her on board. And one of her primary duties beyond all of the things related to public works and city engineering she will be the new staff liaison to the Better Streets Commission. So, which of course I'll be helping her with, and I'll be introducing her to the Better Streets Commission at their meeting next Thursday. The second thing is that on the 18th, 2 weeks from tonight, we will be seating the new council and be saying farewell to those who are not remaining on the council. We have sent out invitations and posted them on the city's website. E-blasted them out and posted them on Nextdoor, and I would encourage all of you to, invite folks to come and witness this event. We will be having some light refreshments, so we are inviting the community to come and participate in this time. The only other thing I want to talk a little bit about was we have received some correspondence from one of our residents regarding wildfire preparedness and the city's preparedness in the event of such an activity or such a disaster. I have spoken to that person directly. The council knows that the city is continually working diligently so that we are as prepared as we can. We also try to engage the community as much as we can in being prepared through events such as the Wildfire Preparedness Community Meeting that the fire department put on a couple of months ago, through our sending postcards to all of the citizens regarding signing up for Alert SCC. But one thing that came out of the discussions with this resident, which is something that I as a city manager has been thinking about for many, many months, is the one huge piece that we're really missing is that sort of neighborhood level activity, that really could help with spreading the word on, how to sign up for Alert SCC, coming to these workshops that we have put on, even possibly how, that the residents might, help in the event of an emergency. And what I have handed out to each of you was a flyer that talks about block action teams. This particular one comes from Los Altos, but the city of Cupertino also has a similar program. So I was speaking to this resident and talking about where I believe is there's a real need in our community to engage our citizenry, hopefully at a neighborhood/block level to, really help spread the word, and in the event of an emergency, possibly help with the emergency. And so what I put to them was, would they be willing to help with organizing, such a possibility? And they seem very much amenable to doing that. So I'm mentioning it to the council tonight. I will certainly be providing you with more information about it as we move forward. But as I said, I do think that this is really the one large missing piece that we don't have in our community that could really help us in preparation as well as potentially during the event itself. So I wanted to mention that to all of you tonight. So besides that, that's all I had.
All right, thank you very much. So now we're at the City Council reorganization. And I do have one speaker card, so we'll handle this. It's a question. So Sean, why don't you come up and ask your question, and then we'll get to the process here.
Great, thank you. Mayor, Council. As you know, last week I sent out an email indicating that this week's agenda item of selecting the mayor did not appear to be proper under state law. The government code on that is pretty unequivocal. It says that the City Council shall meet at a meeting at which the declaration of the election results for a general municipal election is made. Following the declaration of the election results and the installation of the new elected officials, choose one of its number as mayor and one of its number as mayor pro tempore. After I brought this up, the city attorney pointed me to the city's policy resolution, which indicates that it's traditional that the mayor should be selected by the prior council as they leave and before the new members are seated. To me, it's completely logical that the new council would select the mayor that they're going to be led by. But I also understand that this has been a long-standing policy here. And I wanted to indicate that this is clearly a legal issue that the new council can take care of in terms of dealing with the policy. And whatever you all choose to do tonight, my personal feeling is I'm looking forward to working with the new mayor and vice mayor, regardless of how they're appointed, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be the same people no matter how this is done. So I want to say I support your action tonight and whatever choices you make, and I look forward to working with you all.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So before we get started, I just wanted to say a couple of things. The first one was this was a really busy year for the City Council. And I think, first of all, I want to thank Terry. This was, you completed your first year on the job, and I think you've done a really good job. We hit you with just about everything I think we could hit a city manager with in his first year of the job. So you definitely had a trial by fire on this one. And thank you very much for helping and stepping up and really taking the council through this year. And all of my fellow council members, I want to thank for all of the hard work that you put in this year. Would really like to highlight a couple of things that happened this year. The first one was the pavement management program. And thank you, Councilmember Wilsheimer, because I think you brought that up initially. And I think it's something that the city has needed for a long time. And it just, from the comments I've heard about the Blanchard project, I look forward to the pavement management program expanding throughout the city and becoming a great success. We had the formation of the Better Streets and Roads Commission, which I think will also help make things better and safer inside of the city. Traffic has always been an issue that I've tried to push. With our youth commission, we've tried to push the Keep Kids Alive Drive 25 program, and I hope that program will, I know it's just kind of running under the radar right now, but hopefully it'll perk its head up and maybe gain some steam around the neighborhood. Again, as Terry mentioned, trying to get more community. I think that when we do get more community involvement, we will have better and more courteous drivers and pedestrians on our street. And really want to thank the council for coming together with our new tree preservation. It's something that we've discussed for many years, and I think it will hopefully help residents not feel so timid when they look at their eucalyptus trees, especially, and say, well, we have such a restrictive tree policy, and I just don't want to get rid of it. Well, now they'll be able to come in and basically get a rubber stamp on their tree removal permits for these invasive types of trees. As I just watched a big branch of my neighbor's fall down in the last storm we had, and just barely miss her house again. So So with that, I would like to nominate the next mayor, and that would be Curtis Rogers. And Curtis has been, we've known each other since I've been on the council, and he's already done a great job as a mayor during his last term, and I think he will do a great job for us again. And I will look for a second for that nomination.
Second.
Okay, we have a couple of seconds.
Third.
And we have a third. Are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, I would like to have, I guess we need a roll call vote, correct?
Yes.
We will have a roll call vote.
Councilmember Anstandig?
Yes.
Councilmember Turner?
Yes.
Councilmember Wolsheimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers?
Yes.
Mayor Craig?
Yes.
It passes
Congratulations,
5-0.
Thank you.
Mayor
Courtney,
Rogers.
and everybody.
And I get to pass this over to you.
Why don't you finish the meeting?
Here, I'll even give you this.
Oh, boy.
I didn't use it a lot, but
I will. So can I?
I know you like it more than I do.
Yeah, I'm just going to verbally, well, first of all, thank you. And I look forward, the rest of the council is here, and I'm glad you guys showed up. And let's have a really good year and get a lot done. One thing that we all have in common, we love living here. We care about the city. Let's work together to make this a really positive year. And I'm going to make a speech next meeting for you and Marshall about how wonderful you guys are. But thank you for making me the mayor. And with that, I adjourn the meeting.
Oh, wait.
Oh, Vice Mayor. Oh, then I'll nominate Rowena for,
I'd like to second that
Vice Mayor.
nomination.
Okay. Councilmember Anstandig?
Yes.
Councilmember Turner?
Yes.
Councilmember Wolsheimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Craig?
Yes.
And Mayor Rogers?
yes. I've screwed up
It
my
passes
first
5-0.
obligation as mayor, but I'll get better. With that, can I adjourn the meeting? I adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you.